Hey, what's up and welcome back everyone to another Warzone video. Today we're taking a look at the top 10 loadouts that you should be using after the most recent season update, and this is quite possibly the last video we're going to be making of this type in Warzone. So excited to head into Warzone 2, and I am so excited to share with you one of the biggest announcements of my career. Check it out. After years of using Scuf controllers, I finally have my very own.
Focus on what you're upgrading. I'm kind of your one-stop shop while you're gaming.
Inside the box, and now who knows, we might even have a custom Academy controller in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can finally see, I have my own Scuf design, or rather, we have our own Scuf design. When I was designing this controller, not only did I want the colors to be bright and vibrant and obviously match some of the Academy vibes with the blue and the black, but I wanted it to be really subtle. I didn't want my branding all over it. That's why you only see subtle hints of like the Eagle logo in the bottom corner or the Academy A, because I want this controller to all be about who is using it, right? This isn't my controller. This is your tool to get better at the game. And whether it's on Xbox, PS4, PS5, you can now use these paddles on the back of the controller, because we all know we're going to be bunny hopping like crazy when we get into Modern Warfare 2, when we get into Warzone 2. Here is the PlayStation 4 one. It just looks so, and it looks so good in person. Like, it's right next to my skin tone. It's natural, and this thing is vibrant. And this is the very last one. I am absolutely thrilled with how it came out. Just the retro wave design, all the beautiful colors, chasing off into the sunset with kind of that classic retro look, but instead of the purples, more of the electric blues. And I'm just thrilled to be sharing it with you today. If you guys want to check out your very own Scuf, whether it's Xbox, PS4, or PS5, go to the link down in the pinned comment and the description. Use code Isaac for a discount and pick up my weapon of choice heading into Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2. And thank you all for making this possible. But without further ado, let's get into the reason you clicked on the video, which is the top 10 loadouts for the final season of Warzone. And you guys know they cannot freaking nerf a weapon if they tried. So I mean, they always try to increase recoil. They always try to, you know, decrease the damage range, but they really don't do a lot when it comes to nerfing these weapons. So the UGM is still being used by a lot of people in the competitive scene. There's a big tournament going on today, and most people were rocking the UGM in their hands. I would say the only significant nerf is that they made it 100 rounds instead of 125. So you're going to be reloading a lot more, which is making people more apt to try some of the things we're going to talk about further down the list, but it is still very viable. One thing to keep in mind is they did nerf the 3 to 6x. It's not terribly nerfed, but it is noticeably more shaky. So you'll see in the rest of these videos, I start to talk about, you know, so either the Slate Customs. A lot of people are rocking the 3.5 times, but most people are really gassing up the 3.25 custom, because not only do you have the Slate on the side, but also it has very, very little visual recoil. So outside of that, the rest of the build on this is the same. But outside of the PPSH, we got nerfed pretty hard. I am seeing this as the new front runner. The Armaguerra is back in the front running for the SMG game. Recoil booster, precision, slate reflector, the folding, hardscope quick, grooved, and SG98. They nerfed the strafe back, but it still is a very viable strafe weapon. This thing is a laser. It's got great movement, and with 55 rounds, it's about enough to do some damage still in quads gunfights. Moving on from there, we've got something that I don't think enough people realize how unbelievably broken this is. You have a 10-round semi-automatic one-shot headshot, or I think it's even like 2-shot body shot. This thing is absurd. Trust me, I'm glad more people aren't rocking this, because this would ruin my day if I saw more of these in my lobbies. But this is, and I hate saying this as a YouTuber, like, broken. Dude, this is one of the most out-of-balance snipers we've ever had. And people are still using the Car 98. Try it. Trust me, it is worth leveling up. You're going to have a lot of fun in the final months of Warzone with this weapon. give it a try. I recommend rocking the 3-6. 3-6 will have a little bit of kind of bounce to it, but what we do is you rock the stippled grip, and the stippled grip helps out with initial firing recoil, so it helps prevent some of that kick, because every shot that we take is initial firing recoil. Outside of that, equip it as you see here. Plenty fast. The ADS is just fine, especially when you compare it to the amount of benefit that you get with the crazy damage and semi-automatic. For all these guns, you can kind of rock whatever you want. I'm either rocking throwing knives or Simtexes, depending on the game mode. Stims, I'm always rocking. And then cold-blooded and combat scout is pretty standard. You could be rocking, you know, maybe serpentine or battle-hardened, but I'm mainly cold-blooded combat scout right now. Moving forward, enough people aren't talking about it, man. It has hardly been touched. The Cooper Carbine is one of my favorite guns to date in Warzone. It's probably one of my top 5 ARs of all time in Warzone, just because for me, it feels right, man. It's got an incredible time to kill with that 60-round drum, but with the compressed rounds, which increase your fire rate, but it's got that limited damage per magazine. So it is like the perfect balance for me of a gun that has low recoil and it hits like a truck, but it has limited magazine capacity. So it's my favorite gun to run in solos and duos. Build it out just like this, and you're going to have a blast using this. If you haven't tried it in solos, duos, give it a try. It's like the M13 on steroids with that low recoil, lower damage per mag, but fast TTK. I love this gun. Exact same thing can be said for the Type 100. You've seen it in previous videos. Pair out the Type 100, one of the fastest time to kill, I believe the fastest time to kill SMG in the game. And by the way, if you guys are taking screenshots, make sure you're subscribing here for more, because you know for a fact we're going to be getting all the classes that you need in Warzone 2. Make sure you're subscribed here for even more. We build this thing out for max movement speed, fleet, quick, and then also getting a little bit more control. If you struggle to control this gun, you can start to change out things like the tape grip for maybe polymer. I got rid of something like the Smile pistol grip for hand stop just to help out with a little bit of that shake. You'll notice on my SMGs, I like to rock subsonic because I think players don't communicate well, but they can just chase red dots around the map. So if I'm running around, I'm trying to finesse 1v4, or I'm even just trying to play solos like I would recommend with this class, if people have to like guess where they are, they're going to be less apt to run after you immediately. But if they see a red dot, they're coming for you. So most of the times I'm rocking subsonic on my SMGs. Moving forward, guys, the STG is back, okay? And it's not back because they buffed the STG, but they're bringing everything else down. Everything is for weeks, months. They have been bringing other things down, but they have not touched the STG. And so the STG has now made its way up to being one of the top tier meta weapons. People keep forgetting about how good this gun was. Fast reload, great damage per mag, and especially when you throw on the 2.5 times scope or the 3.25 times scope, this thing is a laser beam. It's a really fun gun to use, and I don't know if people forgot about it or they're not using it because traditionally it's not the most fun gun to use, but you're moving around fast, you're not feeling slow and clunky like a UGM, you got a faster reload, and it has a very competitive TTK. A lot of people are considering this to be one of the best weapons to close out Warzone 2 with, or close out Warzone with. And then for me, one of my favorite guns that I don't think enough people give credit to is the Marco. Okay, you have a 64 round drum mag, combine that with the body 240, which helps out with your fire rate, and this gun is just absolutely trucking people. Now it's got a little bit more recoil, okay? So we're gonna throw on the hand stop to help out with that. We're gonna throw on the hatched grip to help out with the recoil control as well. But you still get some of the benefits of not only do you have a fast time to kill, but you also have gung ho, which means no sprint to fire, and fire while sprinting. You can track people down with this gun, and I'm not seeing enough people using it, but it is one of my favorite guns to rock. We have another build of the Marco that I'm going to talk about later on down the road, but the Marco is definitely one of my favorite SMGs, and it has not been touched in a long time. So as the PPSH gets nerfed, even the Arma caught a slight nerf. I think the Marco continues to rise up to the top. Now, I've seen a few people, including Almond, who's one of the more respected competitive players, using the XM4 in a recent tournament after everything's gotten nerfed. Some of the good things about these Cold War weapons is the feeling of, agility as we move around the map. The Cold War weapons have, fast reload times, great time to kills, and we can move pretty fast around the map. But where it really struggled in the past was it didn't have something like the 3 to 6x scope that would allow us to reach out in further distances. Well, now as some of these scopes are starting to get nerfed and some of the guns are starting to get more recoil and damage range reduction, now Cold War and Modern Warfare weapons are starting to slide into the meta. Now, the XM4 is great, but they've wanted to make the Vargo a meta weapon for a long time, that the Vargo now is like statistically better than the XM4 in almost every way, and I would recommend using it. Now, I'm a COD partner. You can use code Isaac in the COD store. Full disclosure, I still don't have this thing max level because whenever I use it, I'll usually end up getting a YouTube video within a few levels because it's so dang good. And then guess what? There is a ferrofluid blueprint that is the meta build. Through Task Force Spetsnaz, 60 round axial arm 3x. You can throw, if you're playing solos, one of the first things you get within the first few levels is a 45 round mag, which is great for solos. And this gun is just incredible to use. I'd highly recommend giving it a try. And if you didn't know, MP40 got a little buff. I have a sweet spot in my heart for the MP40 because I played a lot of Vanguard wagers, a lot of Vanguard like search and destroy, hardpoint, stuff like that. And I love this gun. So it got a buff to its damage range and I believe bullet velocity and a couple other stats as well. And we're going back with the standard build. Recoil, 317 slate, folding, brace quick, taped, hand stop, and then lengthened. Once again, you can go with either lengthened or I like to rock a little bit more subsonic. Again, that is an option if you're trying to stay off the mini map. Moving forward from there, it's a very similar story to the STG where everything keeps getting brought down, but I was even rocking the KG. This is one of the like most laser weapons, but still has that full damage capacity. We're not seeing a lot of nerfs. So while the UGM, yes, it has a 100 round mag, it takes forever to reload. Where this has a comparable time to kill and it has a significantly faster reload. The KG is one of my favorite weapons to use in the game, and it's going to be one of my like sweaty like weapons that I'll try using in wagers as I move forward. I like the UGM, but I think I'm going to be leaning closer towards the KG or the STG moving into, my last competitive wagers heading into Warzone 1. Going with that, I saw Breadman rocking this thing today. We had ran this in the past, and the Blixen standard build doesn't really have the time to kill to feel really competent compared to some of the Armaguerra peers. And so you throw on this Johnson RMK, and let me tell you, that thing throws a little bit of extra recoil on it, but then you build for that recoil. You throw on the Carver, and then if you're struggling with it from there, ditch the taped grip on throwing something like Hatched. If you're still struggling from there, go from this to the skeletal stock, and then this thing will definitely be a laser. So keep in mind, if you are rocking recoil booster with the 9-inch barrel, it's going to shake, but combine it with Carver, Hatched, and skeletal as necessary, depending on your recoil control, and you'll be shooting beams with this gun, and it kills fast. It is really fun to have the Blixen back in my hand and see people using it, because with the fleet and quick, it's one of my favorite guns to run around and gun with. Moving forward from there, okay, you guys already know. Okay, you already know the Growl is still in the game. Okay, the Growl, they've wanted the Growl to become king. If you haven't noticed, they've already released a couple blueprints for it again. They've released some, Growl is king memes across the board. I think like Ted Timmons, this is like his favorite gun. It's got the cleanest iron sights in the game. I would rock it like this if you're rocking it inside of Rebirth or Fortune's Keep. If you're struggling to reach out to those ranges, you can throw the VLK on there as well, but it's got a very comparable time to kill. It's not as good as some, but it's still very viable, and I just love the sound that Infinity Ward made with all of their weapon designs. So I would definitely give the Growl a try. Now this one's a sleeper. Okay, this is the Sten. It has the fastest movement speed out of I think any gun in the game. You are zooming across the map with this gun, and on top of that, it has a unbelievably fast time to kill, almost as fast as the Type 100. But the good thing is the Type 100, it has a great time to kill, but it drops off, I think like 8 or 10 meters. This Sten doesn't drop off until like 20 meters, if I remember correctly. And so it actually can reach out very far. You're zooming across the map, and it has a great time to kill. This is a lot of fun to use, and I'm going to refine this class, but we're going to be making a dedicated class because I think this is one of the best guns to use. Especially as we're probably going to head into Warzone 2 where we're not going to have as much movement. I think this is going to be a really fun class heading into the final days of Warzone to zoom across Caldera or Rebirth or Fortune's Keep. Once again, if you are enjoying the video so far, if you caught yourself taking a couple screenshots, make sure to subscribe to this video. I can't tell you how many people send me screenshots of me doing a thumbs up, so I just do it for the meme. But make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe for even more. And if you want one of these bad boys, check out the link in the pinned comment and the description. But moving forward, the Whitley. If you've used it off the ground, you know what I'm talking about. This gun kills unbelievably fast. It is one of the fastest killing weapons in the game right now, and the headshot multiplier is absurd. Like, even against the UGM, all the other ARs in the game, the headshot multiplier on this gun, if you catch someone on a head glitch, it deletes them. It is so much fun to use. We're gonna be making dedicated videos for it. A lot of people are calling this what, you know, potentially the full meta. I don't think it's gonna be the full meta, you know, only a 45 round mag, and a lot of people don't have this thing leveled up. But you should have a decent level on it because it's been ground lift for so long. I really like the Whitley, and I think it's going to have a good spot in the final months of the meta. I think it might be a little bit too slow and a little bit too limited on the magazine capacity, which is why I don't have it towards the top of the list, but I still think it's fun to use. You guys know this is one of my favorite meme guns to use. It kills in like 200 milliseconds or something unbelievably quick. Faster than any SMG in the game, just because you were taking dual akimbo 1911s full auto, and it's just an absolute blast to use. From there, we've got the UGM still. It's probably going to be, you know, one of my go-to guns. I always try to keep my top two guns right here, so I have tempered for my final two classes. I'm leaning towards UGM Arma, but I'll probably end up pivoting to something like STG or the KG for my primary wager class, but we're gonna have to figure that out as we go forward. But from there, I always have tempered with both weapons, and then you can either rock the single fire Desert Eagle. It's one of the faster pistols in the game, or you can rock the Desert Eagle with akimbo with the 5 milliwatt, as you can see that I have set up here. But ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up the top 10 meta guns heading into the final season of Warzone. What a freaking cool feeling this is heading into Warzone 2. If you guys don't know, check out my previous video. We actually talked that Warzone 2 loadouts might be coming back. There's a lot of leaks about things that are coming back to Warzone 2, including loadouts, including perks, and I also review the best gameplay from the Warzone 2 at Call of Duty Next. I take a hypercut of the top 3 players in their 30 bomb. They get the first ever team 30 bomb in a custom game lobby against the other pros at COD Next. And we also talk about some of the leaks and rumors of all things coming. That'll be linked at the end of today's video. But once again, huge shout out to Scuf. It has been a dream of mine to have my very own controller, and the fact that we have one heading into Warzone 2 and me heading into full-time content creation is an absolute dream come true. Check out the link in the pinned comment in the description if you want to learn more. Without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to check out the one linked at the end, and I'll see you all live over on Twitch, where we're celebrating the release of this controller. Peace.